Growth and development of Indian languages, contact with English rejuvenated them. New themes hitherto unexplored in Indian literature came into existence. These found expression in prose, and the essay, the short story, and the novel came into being. From the beginning of the 20th century, Indian literature began increasingly to reflect the political dreams of the people. Gandhi's influence on the intellectual landscape of India was far-reaching and intense. Writers across the country were inspired by his ideas of social justice and national identity. Additionally, at this time, the ideas of Karl Marx began to gain significance in Indian political thought and to find expression in literature. Gandhi had already captured popular sentiment with his concept of Daridra Narayan, the embodiment of the divine in the hungry, the poor, and the downtrodden. Marxist thought and Gandhian idealism combined to give rise to an intellectual outlook that was uniquely Indian, one which accommodated radical new left-leaning ideas without violent revolution. In Hindi writing, the works of Munshi Premchand came to embody this new spirit. Premchand established social realism in Hindi writing, and in 1919, with the publication of his Seva Sadan, the Hindi novel came into its own. Deeply influenced by Gandhi, he wrote about the plight of the common man. His writings were characterized by his deep understanding of rural Indian society, his sensitive and empathetic portrayal of social concerns, and his vivid characterizations. In Seva Sadan, he tells the story of Suman, a young woman caught in an unhappy marriage, and explores issues of marriage and prostitution and Indian social attitudes towards them. In his next novel, Premashram, 1924, he takes us to Lakhanpur, a small Indian village threatened by the advances of industrialization. His vibrant depiction of the village and its inhabitants, of the conflict between the landlords and the peasants, and the constant and underlying presence of a colonial government, and his analysis of rural social structure gave this work an intellectual force previously absent from Hindi novel. Premchand's greatest achievement is Godan, the poignant and powerful tale of Hori, a poor farmer, and his struggle against poverty, caste, and social prejudice. Godan remains a classic of Hindi literature. It was also Premchand's last novel, published in 1936, the year he died. The vacuum left by Premchand's passing was filled instantly by his younger associate Jainendra Kumar. Jainendra had made his debut on the Hindi literary scene in 1928 with his short story Khel. The publication of his novels Parak in 1929, Sunita in 1935, and Tyagpatra in 1937 established him firmly as one of the leading Hindi novelists of the age, and Premchand's mantle naturally fell upon his shoulders. Premchand had often presented Jainendra to his readers as his successor, and his domination of the Hindi novel and short story till the end of the 1950s more than earned him that title. However, rather than following the path laid down by Premchand, Jainendra chose to strike out on his own, exploring through his writings the inner conflicts and turmoil of the individual rather than the wider social issues that had been Premchand's concern. With Jainendra, the person became important. In Tyagpatra, for instance, though Jainendra relates Mrinal's story with the context of contemporary society, he focuses less on the wider ills of that society than on Mrinal's struggle to live according to the norms she believes in. The wider world is, of course, always present. It is the stage upon which the play is performed. But, like a stage, it recedes into the background as we focus on the players and their tale. By Jainendra's time, to the mix of Gandhian ideals and Marxist revolution had been added a third ingredient, the ideas of Sigmund Freud.